final score. It's been a drama-filled, action-packed afternoon with 6 Premier League matches kicking off at 3 o'clock, including much-troubled Liverpool. Martin Keown and Steve Claridge are telling it how it is, and I'll let them do just that in a moment. But first, let's fill you in on the bare bones of the afternoon's Premier League action so far. And the lunchtime kickoff was Manchester City against Chelsea. Tevez scored the decisive goal to end their unbeaten start. But at the moment, it's Arsenal 0, West Brom 2. The visitors on course for 3 famous points. Peter Odemwingie and Gonzalo Yara. I can tell you it's just turned to 3-0 to West Brom. Arsenal 0, West Brom 3. I'll bring you the full details of that in a moment when we go to the Emirates. It's Birmingham 0, Wigan 0, Blackpool 0, Blackburn Rovers 1. Charlie Adams' own goal, the difference between the sides at Bloomfield Road. Fulham 0, Everton 0, goalless then at Craven Cottage. Everton will go bottom as scores stand still without a win this season if it stays that way. Liverpool 2, Sunderland 2. Darren Bent scored twice for the visitors, but Steven Gerrard has come to the rescue again for Liverpool. West Ham 1, Tottenham 0. The Hammers on course for their first league win, courtesy of Frederick Keown's first half goal. OK, let's head around the grounds. There's only one place to go. It's the Emirates. David Garrido, tell us all about the third goal for West Brom.
Well, it came from Jerome Thomas, who smashed the ball into the roof of the net after Chris Brunt had burst into the box. Manuel Almunia in no man's land, really. And as Arsenal try and counter-attack here, but it really hasn't been their day. They have not been clicking. They have not been sewing those moves together as they normally do. The previous 2 West Brom goals came at the start of the second half. The impressive Thomas getting to the byline, beat Bakary Sagna, centred for man of the moment Peter Odemwingie to stick out a boot and guide it home. It got even better. Cheeky back heel from Brunt, releasing Gonzalo Hara, who smashed the ball past Manuel Almunia at his near post. Poor keeping, to be honest. As I say, it's a scoreline that even the most ardent, passionate and bouncy of Baggies fans would never have thought possible. It's Arsenal 0, West Brom 3.
The pause there, I thought a fourth was coming. Let's go to Anfield. Damien Johnson, Liverpool with a troubled week. It's not looking too much better at the moment.
No, 2-2, not the redemption Liverpool were looking for after Carling Cup humiliation. A bizarre goal from Dirk Kuyt gave them the lead. Sunderland argued they hadn't taken a free kick before Torres pounced to put Kuyt in. Sunderland rallied, 2 goals from Darren Bent, the first from the spot after Poulsen handled, the second a flying header. Brilliant header from captain Steve Gerrard. The inspiration got Liverpool back into it. We've just seen Roy Hodgson punch the air in frustration. He nearly caught the 4th official with a right-hander. Fortunately, he missed. It's been that kind of frustrating afternoon for Liverpool.
Indeed, would be a sucker punch, wouldn't it? Is there a sucker punch at the Emirates? There's a goal. David Garrido, which way's it gone?
No, it's the start of a comeback, possibly for Arsenal. It was Samir Nasri who broke into the box on the right-hand side, turned past a couple of players, fired home, left-footed past Scott Carson, and ran straight away to pick the ball out of the back of the net, because Arsenal have still got work to do here. They only trail 2 goals now. It's Arsenal 1, West Brom 3.
What price an Arsenal comeback in the last 15 minutes? I'll let you think about that one, Martin Keown. I'll get your thoughts on their performance in a moment. But first of all, we're going to Upton Park. Mark Bishop could be about to witness West Ham's first league win of the season.
It's on the cards, Gabby. West Ham 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Any neutral, I tell you, would have paid good money to watch this terrific high-octane encounter. Great game, end-to-end action, capacity crowd. But all the talk tonight, I think, on Robert Green's save, a Gordon Banks-type save, denying Luka Modric's volley in the first half, tipping the ball up onto the crossbar. The ball bounced back onto the back of his neck, rolled away for a corner kick. Tottenham equaliser looked a certainty when Huddleston rounded Green in the second half, early in the second half. Should have scored, smashed the ball over on 54 minutes. So we've just seen Cudicini make an excellent save, this time tipping the ball over the crossbar from a Mark Noble blockbuster. Great game. West Ham still lead by 1-0.
Mark, thank you very much. To Ivan Gaskell at St Andrews, which is officially tomorrow going to be called a fortress, Ivan.
Yes, a game that's rather lost its way, though. I'm not exactly sure it really knew it was which way it was going to begin with, but chances have been here sporadically. They've come and gone. No one's really got hold of the game, but Birmingham will, as you suggest there, complete 1 unbeaten year at home if they avoid defeat. I think they really should be trying to win it, though, and in doing so, they've thrown giant striker Nikola Zigic on. It's not really helped so far. Birmingham 0, Wigan 0, and about as good as it sounds.
We've been keeping our eye on Scottish Third Division Montrose because they scored 7 goals. So I'll just fill you in that Clyde have got one back. I think it might be too late for a comeback, though. But you can see that Derby are on their way to 7, aren't they? 5 goals now. Sheffield Cucci there on 73 minutes against Crystal Palace. That'll be their first home win of the season. Well, I think we can say it is their first home win of the season, can't we? Unless there's a miracle coming from Palace. A miracle needed from Blackpool, Harry Gratian at Broomfield Road?
Well, maybe not a miracle, but Rovers definitely the better side. Although just a moment or so ago, lovely cross from Eardley to the far post. Adam, who committed that bizarre own goal in the first half, got a header to it. The ball just squirmed across the goal, and that was the first real moment of agitation for Robinson in the entire game, I suspect. Dukes, though, has been tested by Jones and Pedersen. Rovers lead 1-0.
And the last time a Labour leader was elected, Blackburn Rovers were the next winners of the Premier League, just for the you politics hacks, because you can be a sports fan and like a bit of politics as well, you know. Let's go to Craven Cottage. Mark Webber is there for us, and he was really bored for quite a large portion of this match, but it seems to have come to life in the last dying last 20 minutes or so.
Absolutely, Gabby. Fulham 0, Everton 0. Your Pools coupon would probably describe most of this game as a bored draw. Variable possession levels have been punctuated by half chances at best in a game that makes you want to reach for your pocket puzzle book. But in the past few minutes, things have stepped up a gear, especially for Everton, whose need for 3 points is as great as it's been since their woeful start of '94. But to be honest with you, more hair collectively being pulled out by both sets of fans than you find on a barber's floor at closing time. Fulham just denied a penalty call. Fulham 0, Everton 0.
Which means if things stay as they are, Everton will be rock bottom tonight. Confirm that to you on 3 points, because at West Ham, of course, in the lead at the moment against Tottenham Hotspurs. Let's go to the Majeski. Reading against Barnsley. Barnsley haven't won there for 13 years. Alex Gordon-Martin, any sign of that changing today?
No, not really, Gabby. It's just happened, and it's Reading 1, Barnsley 0. A long time coming for the home side. Hal Robson-Kanu with a bullet of a cross from the left, and in came the game star performer. Marlian winger Jimmy Kebe crashed a header past Luke Steele. It's Reading 1, Barnsley 0.
Montrose now with their 8th goal of the afternoon. That's the place to be, isn't it? I don't think you'd want to be at the Emirates for most of this afternoon, Martin.
No, disappointing. But, you know, an old player going back there, Jerome Thomas, really has an outstanding game today in the West Bromwich Albion team. You have to say they've been excellent in their passing. Arsenal a bit naive at the back. Listen, Arsenal are taking the game to them, but I think it's too much too late. They didn't play their passing game. Wilshere sitting on the bench. Wenger now has made the changes, but still on the break, West Bromwich Albion look really very good. And Odemwingie, what a great signing he is for them. Suddenly now they've got someone who can score them goals.
Yeah, he was the man that really troubled Birmingham City last weekend in that Midlands derby. They got the 3-1 win over their neighbours, didn't they? And they've taken their, I suppose, some strength from that and gone to a place where other sides have been battered this season, and they're doing the reverse.
Yeah, I mean, so many times we see games like this where Arsenal have a plethora of chances and don't actually take them. Hasn't been the case today. West Brom have more than held their own. They've had a threat going forward. They've been very, very good at the back. They've worked extremely hard. They've missed a penalty into the bargain. This could be 4-1. Ball, it really should be.
Because that wasn't well taken, was it?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Brunt was a poor penalty, but I think basically Arsene Wenger's at the start has picked the wrong side. Abuy is not a right winger. I don't think he should have started him out there. He has got players who can play out there. They've now changed. They look a different side going forward, Arsenal, but unfortunately, too late.
The nutty professor, as Harry Redknapp's called him. The experiment's not going so well this afternoon in the lab that is the Emirates. Today's early kick-off came at the City of Manchester Stadium, where Chelsea were the visitors. The last time they met there were 6 goals. Well, they're not there, actually. It was at Stamford Bridge, wasn't it? There was 1 handshake fewer than there should have been, and much acrimony all round. Here's what happened this time. Steve Wilson.
A hugely significant victory for Manchester City and Chelsea's first defeat of this Barclays Premier League season. It was a stalemate of a first half with much expected and very little happening apart from a Brannis.
Makes it that much more competitive at the top of the table, doesn't it? Let's go to Carrow Road. Hull haven't won away since March 2009. There's a goal there. Alan Biggs, is that going to change history?
It might well do. It might be that long-awaited away win. Before the goal, I think Hull would have been quite content with what would have been a first away point of the season. But they've broken through a deflected cross. It was a really scruffy goal. The ball falling for Robert Coran to dink a header over the line. It's all been Norwich otherwise in the second half. Wes Hoolihan leading the charge for them, but Matt Duke has denied them in the Hull goal. And now a breakaway effort from Coran. It's Norwich 0, Hull 1.
Can Steven Gerrard's trowel, can his spade dig Liverpool out of another hole? Damian Johnson, any sign of a Liverpool win coming at Anfield?
Couldn't pick a winner at this moment. Liverpool have had the better of it. Dirk Kuyt wide with an effort. His frustration is etched on everyone's face in this 43,000 crowd. I've never seen Roy Hodgson so animated and excited on the touchline. Both sides not too happy with referee Mr. Atwell's performance. A lot of decisions, controversial decisions being taken to heart by both sides. Sunderland now pressing. They've got Asamoah Gyan on for Welbeck in the second half. 2-2, 6 minutes remaining.
A Yorkshire derby at Elland Road, and Steve Sutton can tell us about a goal there.
Well, the crowd's gone absolutely berserk. You can probably guess from the noise that it's Leeds who've taken the lead against their Yorkshire rival Sheffield United. It's been a long, long time coming. It happened, there was an air shot from a Sheffield United defender, missed the ball completely. Snodgrass rang onto it. He crossed into the middle. There was a mix-up in the middle. The ball wasn't cleared, and Bradley Johnson was there to poke it into an empty net. 1-0 to Leeds.
What an atmosphere that'll be there this afternoon. Let's just talk a little bit about Liverpool, because the one thing you know about Steve Bruce, 2-2 at Anfield, he's not just going to shut up shop, is he? You know, his side will keep going, or have they decided today, actually, they'd quite like to take a point away from there?
Well, this game's had everything, hasn't it? Stuart Atwell at the beginning of the game, a bizarre goal you'll see tonight on Match of the Day. Incredible, the first one. It's almost like passed it back to the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper doesn't even know he's passing it, and in nips Keown to score, and in between Darren Bent.
Got to press your pause button,
goals.
Martin. Hold your thoughts, because there's a goal at Bloomfield Road. Harry Gratian, is it Blackpool's or Blackburn's?
And it's Blackpool who've equalised. A sensational goal here with just a matter of moments left. Matt Phillips, the guy who's got the goal. It has to be said that for most of this half, Blackpool have offered very little, but in the last 5 minutes, Robinson's made 2 great saves. He couldn't do anything about that. As Phillips cut in, nice bit of skill, right for his shot, hit the post and went in 1-1.
Thank you, Harry. We've just seen it on the printer, but there was a goal at Loftus Road. Jackie Oatley can tell us about it.
Yes, a penalty scored by Adil Tarab to make it QPR 2, Doncaster Rovers 0. Neil Sullivan, the goalkeeper, had brought down Hyder Helgeson, who'd been put clean through. He was going away from goal, which is why Sullivan was only yellow carded, not red carded. But it's a very flattering scoreline. Casper Skorks had put QPR in front early in the second half, but really Doncaster Rovers have been the better side, but they haven't taken their chances. QPR 2, Doncaster Rovers 0.
Also in the Championship there, you can see Watford did have a 3-0 lead. Watford players helped Middlesbrough get back into it, though. Mariappa there with an own goal on 80 minutes. And Northampton, of course, conquerors of Liverpool in midweek, now with a 2-0 lead over Bradford City. Let's talk a little bit about Blackpool. Blackburn Rovers looked like they were going to hold on to that, didn't they, with an iron fist, that early lead. But Bloomfield Road at the moment must be a bouncing place. They came from behind against Fulham as well, didn't they?
They're never going to give up.
No.
I watched them in the playoffs last year, and the one team that will be completely unaffected by going behind is Blackpool. It is something that they'll have gone up and think, well, we'll be in this situation before. It's not exactly, how we react to that. It's how we just continue to play, and that's what they've done. They've had a go. They could have been a couple of goals behind, more further behind, but they're not. They're stuck in it, and all of a sudden they're back in the game, and good luck to them.
Yeah, OK, thank you for that. For the moment, let's go to Upton Park. Are West Ham going to hold on and get 3 points for the first time this season? Mark Bishop can tell us.
They look like it, Gabby. West Ham 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. I tell you, London Underground may have done its best to stop a capacity crowd squeezing into Upton Park after shutting down much of the district line before kick-off. But for every fan here, no matter that goal from Frederick Pickery on that header from that noble corner, every fan here will be talking about that Robert Green save, a Gordon Banks type save, tipping Modric's volley onto the crossbar when a goal just seemed so right for Modric. The ball hitting the bar, hitting Green's neck and going out for a corner kick. You'll see it on Match of the Day tonight. Tottenham now are cranking up the pressure. They're pounding West Ham, but West Ham looking as if they're going to register their first league win under Avram Grant, and they'll thoroughly deserve it. West Ham 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
On the back, of course, of a win in the League Cup as well, and a draw last weekend. Are things turning for the Hammers? Let's go to St Andrews. Ivan Gaskell, are you going to see a winner there?
I don't think so, not at this stage. 5 to go. It's really become quite an attritional sort of game. It's got really bogged down. I think Wigan would be more than happy for the whistle to blow now and come away from here with a point. They've only won 1 in 8 games. They've lost 6 out of the last 7 Premier League games away, so they'll be happy with a point at a difficult place to come. But really, Birmingham haven't shown enough ambition or craft to break them down. They've got a little and large partnership up front of Phillips and Zigic now, but it still doesn't look like going their way. It's goalless here with, 4 to go now.
And it's finished at Links Park. Montrose 8, Clyde 1. So value for money if goals are what you enjoy. Let's go now, though, to remind you all about, well, as long as there are no last-minute building hiccups, the Commonwealth Games starts a week tomorrow.
Delhi welcomes the Commonwealth Games. Coverage starts Sunday the 3rd of October across the BBC.
A goal. It's been on the video printer. It is on the video printer still. You can see there Maciejewski for Nottingham Forest. Andrew James, what was it like?
Yep, it was a good strike from Maciejewski. He was quite surprised to get the ball, I think, at short notice, Gabby, but he managed to turn it in. Swansea have been poor. Lewis McGugan's the man that's done all the damage for Nottingham Forest. A goal in each half. The first one a penalty. That means he's scored 4 in 3 games. He was substituted to a standing ovation, but Swansea, despite their good form at home this season, this is their 8th consecutive away defeat in the league, stretching back into last season. Forest fully deserving of the points they'll get at the moment, with play still going on. Forest 3, Swansea 0.
And you can see Hull have doubled their lead at Carrow Road. I guess, Alan Biggs, if you haven't won away for 19 months, you may as well score a few.
Yes, once one came, another came. There wasn't a sign of even one, I have to say, before that. Norwich 0, Hull 2. A scoreline that's misleading, and it's harsh on Norwich as well, but Hull aren't complaining after so long without an away win, and no doubting the quality of their second goal. A terrific free kick from Tom Kearney, left-footed, full of swerve and curl into the top corner, and it's made it Norwich 0, Hull City 2.
It would be unfair to say Mark Webber hasn't enjoyed his afternoon at Craven Cottage, because the half-time refreshments were very good by all accounts. Has the football given you anything to smile about?
Oh, it's got worse. It's got so bad. Garth Crooks was with me. He's now leaving. He's had enough. He's looking for the refund. Fulham 0, Everton 0. Desperation setting in for both sides here, as there's a push down the right-hand side by Chris Baird, but gathered by Tim Howard. A couple of yellow cards changing hands recently. Duff getting one of them for a bad tackle. They're really trying to play Route 1 basic football here at the moment, just to get a goal. But I don't think it's going to happen. Fulham 0, Everton 0.
And Reading have doubled their lead. It looks like it's the winner, doesn't it? Reading 2, Barnsley 0 now at the Maciejewski. Damien Johnson's watching Liverpool-Sunderland at Anfield. He's seen all kinds of shenanigans this afternoon. He'll see some more with a sit-in planned after the match. But can Liverpool find a way through against the Black Cats?
Well, it's been a pulsating afternoon, and we've got more to come. 6 minutes of injury time. The board has just gone up. It's all Liverpool at the moment. Glenn Johnson dragged a shot wide, and Go headed wide when in a good position. The substitute who's come on in the second half. It's been an amazing game. You can't really take your eyes from the field. We're into injury time. There will be 6 minutes of that in total. Liverpool 2, Sunderland 2.
Well, there's a red card for Ivan Gaskell to talk about, if not a goal at St Andrews.
No, there's definitely a red card, and it's gone to Craig Gardner, the Birmingham City player, the midfielder, for a tackle that he's just dished out on the Wigan substitute, Franco De Santos. De Santos, a nippy player, but he just miscontrolled slightly. The ball got away from him. Gardner's tackle, though, was it two-footed? It certainly was a little high on the shins of De Santo. He was on the ground writhing straight away, and the referee, Mark Clattenburg, decided immediately that it was a dismissal, a straight red for Gardner. Off he went. Most of the Birmingham players were rather bemused by it, but it's a questionable one. It was certainly a little reckless, to say the least. It certainly hurt De Santo, and Gardner, with 3 minutes left, is off.
Another goal at Loftus Road, QPR 3, Doncaster 0, but there's a goal at the Emirates. Are Arsenal back in this, David Garrido?
It's gone to Arsenal. They are now only 3-2 down. Sami Nasri with his and Arsenal's second. Shamak and Arshavin involved in the build-up. Nasri, one touch with his left, fired in with his right. We're into injury time, and Arsenal are still fighting for a point out there. Can West Brom hold on? Arsenal 2, West Brom 3.
Price a winner, Steve.
Well,
an equaliser at least.
This will be, if you know, what might have been. I'm sure he'll look on this and think, you know, should have picked this side from the start, and I think we probably might have won.
It was after the Lord Mayor show for Arsenal, wasn't it, today?
There's a goal, but it's not, I'm afraid, at the Emirates for you, Martin. It is at Bloomfield Road. A winner, Harry Gratian.
And it's been scored by Jones for Blackburn Rovers. Just when Blackburn Rovers themselves were rocking, they counted it, and they've gone mad now. Real delirium from their fans. Jones the scorer, 2-1 to Rovers.
It looks like it's Brett Emerton there. He said Jones, didn't he? We'll clear that one up for you in just a second. So Blackpool coming back into it late on with that goal in 85 minutes for Phillips. Couldn't hang on. It would look like that's a win for Blackburn Rovers.
Well, that is the problem with Blackpool. They're always in the game, but they're always capable,
of getting out of it.
Yeah, of getting out at the wrong time. That's the way they play. He was never going to shut up shop. They worked very hard to get back into it, and I think they'll be devastated if they are to lose it through this.
It looks like there are some scenes of jubilation at Upton Park. Mark Bishop can tell us why.
Yes, I can, Gabby, because West Ham have registered their first league win under Avram Grant, and scenes of jubilation in a capacity crowd here at Upton Park, and quite rightly so. Frederick Keown's all-important header gives West Ham their first league win over Spurs in 4 years. A high-octane derby, but tonight in every East London pub and club, Robert Green's wonder save, a Gordon Banks type save, will be the talk of the town, stretching his body across the face of the goal, denying Luka Modric's volley, destined for the pulled off another great save to deny Van der Vaart. But this has been West Ham's day, and they've beaten Tottenham by 1-0.
A big win for West Ham, a big win incidentally for Ed Miliband. And speaking of red cards at Elland Road, Steve Sutton can tell us more.
Yes, Gabby, the full-time whistle's just gone. This game can be sort of encapsulated in the final 5 minutes, really, because that's when it all kicked off, quite literally. Bradley Johnson opened the scoring for Leeds 5 minutes from time. Then we had 2 red cards. Leeds, Robert Snodgrass, 2 yellows for fairly innocuous fouls. And then in added-on time, Sheffield United's Jamie Ward, from the distance I could see, he was showing his studs into a tackle. It didn't cause any serious damage to the Leeds player, but he was shown straight red. But Leeds come out on top of what has been a gritty Yorkshire derby. Leeds 1, Sheffield United 0.
17 years since Leeds have beat Sheffield United. That was when they were both in the Premier League. Lizzie Greenwood-Hughes at the Valley. It looks like you've got a winner on your hands there.
Well, it could be. We're just about going into injury time here at the Valley, and Charlton are now leading Dagenham and Redbridge 2-1. It had been pretty much end-to-end stuff, and I think Charlton actually been looking very scrappy and quite lucky really to get that hopefully for them the winning goal. But Dagenham and Redbridge were bottom of the table this morning, and it looks like it's going to be another away trip with no points for them. It's looking pretty bad. It's 2-1 Charlton, Dagenham and Redbridge.
Full time at Bloomfield Road, and it looks like Blackburn Rovers do like to be beside the seaside, Harry Gratian.
They absolutely do, Gabby. Brett Emerton got the winner, a beautifully taken goal. And for 80 minutes, I thought that Rovers were just coasting their way through this. But then Blackpool managed to get themselves back. A great goal from Matt Phillips. And then right at the very end, Brett Emerton gets the points for Rovers. And to be honest, judging the 90 minutes as a whole, they surely deserve that. A big away win for them against their local rivals. Everton making it sure that Rovers get the 3 points.
Let's go to Craven Cottage, full time there. You are released, Mark Webber.
Fulham 0, Everton 0. If frustration could be bottled, Merseyside would be the biggest pop factory in England. The Reds' woes are being matched at least by Everton, who, despite most of their possession, couldn't score for love nor money. Whilst they wobbled in front of goal, they left the back door open, giving Fulham some decent chances to get a goal or two and compound the misery on the blue side of Merseyside. Andy Burnham's lost his Labour leadership challenge. His beloved Toffees are pointless again. I don't know what's worse, Fulham 0, Everton 0.
Let's go to the Emirates. The full-time whistle has blown. A famous victory for Roberto Di Matteo's West Brom. David Garrido was watching.
Arsenal 2, West Brom 3, the final score. The Baggies will go boinging all the way back to the West Midlands, still pinching themselves after, as you rightly say, quite a sensational win, Gabby. It was started by Peter Odemwingie just after half-time. He stabbed home from close range after being set up by the very impressive Jerome Thomas. What a game he had. Chris Brunt had missed a penalty in the first half, saved by Manuel Almunia. A poor spot kick it was too, but his back heel then released Gonzalo Yara to smash past Manuel Almunia at his near post. Poor keeping there. But it got even worse for the Gunners. Brunt bursting past the back line and found Thomas, who scored into an empty net for number 3. Sami Nasri did get 2 goals back, and Arsenal produced a real onslaught in injury time. But in the end, time ran out. This one is definitely worth the watch on Match of the Day. Breathless. Arsenal 2, West Brom 3.
I was wrong, Lizzie Greenwood-Hughes. They apparently wait until the fat ladies sung there.
I spoke too soon, Gabby, and they're still playing it. There must be a couple of minutes left behind injury time. But John Nurse has just got the equaliser for Dagenham and Redbridge, and he's actually had to go off injured. It was a bit of a goal-mouth scramble, but at the moment, in the dying minutes of this match between Charlton and Dagenham and Redbridge, it is 2-2 at the Valley.
Could be back for more. Let's go to Anfield, the final whistle. There's no more there, Damien Johnson.
Liverpool 2, Sunderland 2, a pulsating game, but no redemption for Liverpool. They took the lead when Michael Turner knocked the ball back for his keeper to take a free kick. Referee Stuart Atwell ruled he'd actually taken the kick. Torres pounced to put Keown in to score. 2 goals from Darren Bent, then ended Sunderland's 10-year wait to score at Anfield. The first a penalty after Poulsen handled, the second a brilliant header from Anuha's cross. Captain Stephen Gerrard's header got Liverpool back into it. They threw everything at Sunderland, who defended gamely. Agger had a great late chance, but headed agonisingly wide. And we await now a protest against the owners. 2-2.
We'll bring you more on that, of course. But let's go to St Andrews, where they couldn't find a winner today. Ivan Gaskell.
No, it never looked like a high pedigree encounter on paper. It ended as a scruffy mongrel of a game on the pitch too. The two sides failing to stamp their mark. Chances came, were missed and went. Craig Gardner was dismissed for his poor late tackle on DeSanto, but the game had long since lost its rather small sparkle by then. Birmingham unbeaten for a complete calendar year though at St Andrews. Having said that, they rather limped over the line here. 0-0.
Thank you, Ivan. Let's go to Elland Road. Steve Sutton's already told us about Leeds United's win over Sheffield United, but some trouble there.
Like I said in my final report there, Gabby, it all kicked off quite literally in the last 5 minutes. That's when Leeds scored the goal. Then there were 2 red cards. Robert Snodgrass first for Leeds, 2 yellows. Then a straight red for Jamie Ward from Sheffield United. Players from both sides unhappy with each other at the final whistle. And then at the Sheffield end of the ground, the supporters there, a lot of them were goading the Leeds fans. I saw quite a few of them be escorted out of the ground by the police. So an unsavoury end, really, to what we were describing at the beginning, weren't we, as a good old-fashioned Yorkshire derby. What we didn't want was good old-fashioned scenes that we got at the end from some of the fans. It finished 1-0 to Leeds.
OK, Steve, thank you very much. Let's go to Loftus Road. The league leaders in the Championship, QPR, well, they were held for a while by Doncaster Rovers. In the end, they came out on top. Jackie Oatley saw it.
They did finish QPR 3, Doncaster 0, and QPR proving why they're championship-winning contenders, because they've ultimately comfortably won, despite being outplayed for at least half the game. Doncaster had by far the better of the first half, but Rangers went in front through Casper's Gorks, firing home on the rebound after his header was blocked. Adel Tarab made it 2-0 from the spot after Sullivan brought down Helgeson, and Gorks headed home his second from a corner. Doncaster hit the woodwork twice in the game through Martin Woods and James Coppinger, but they didn't take their chances. QPR did. They're again 6 points clear, and they've kept up their average of winning 3-0 per home game, and they've yet to concede at home in the Championship. QPR 3, Doncaster 0.
Jackie, thank you. Let's get the full classified results now with Tim Gudgin.
And opening with the Barclays Premier League, Arsenal 2, West Bromwich Albion 3. Birmingham City 0, Wigan Athletic 0. Blackpool 1, Blackburn Rovers 2. Fulham 0, Everton 0. Liverpool 2, Sunderland 2. Manchester City 1, Chelsea 0. And West Ham United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. The Empire Championship, Burnley 0, Bristol City 0. Cardiff City 2, Millwall 1. Coventry City 1, Preston North End 2. Derby County 5, Crystal Palace 0. Leeds United 1, Sheffield United 0. Norwich City 0, Hull City 2. Nottingham Forest 3, Swansea City 1. Queen's Park Rangers 3, Doncaster Rovers 0. Reading 3, Barnsley 0. Scunthorpe United 1, Ipswich Town 1. And Watford 3, Middlesbrough 1. In League One, AFC Bournemouth 2, Carlisle United 0. Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Oldham Athletic 1. Bristol Rovers 2, Notts County 1. Charlton Athletic 2, Dagenham and Redbridge 2. Colchester United 3, Tranmere Rovers 1. Hartlepool United 2, Walsall 1. Peterborough United 2, Milton Keynes Dons 1. Rochdale 1, Plymouth Argyle 1. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Southampton 1. Swindon Town 1, Huddersfield Town 0. And Yeovil Town 1, Exeter City 3. In League 2, Cheltenham Town 0, Bury 2. Crewe Alexandra 1, Oxford United 1. Gillingham 1, Burton Albion 0. Hereford United 1, Southend United 3. Lincoln City 0, Stevenage 1. Morecambe 2, Barnet 2. Northampton Town 2, Bradford City 0. Port Vale 2, Accrington Stanley 0. Rotherham United 1, Chesterfield 0. Stockport County 2, Aldershot Town 2. Torquay United 1, Macclesfield Town 3. And Wycombe Wanderers 2, Shrewsbury Town 2. In the Blue Square Bet Premier, Altrincham 2, Grimsby Town 2. Cambridge United 0, Newport County 1. Darlington 1, Southport 0. Fleetwood Town 2, Bath 1. Forest Green Rovers 0, Kettering Town 2. Gateshead 1, Luton Town 0. Hayes and Yeading United 2, Barrow 0. Mansfield Town 4, Eastbourne Borough 0. Tamworth 1, York City 3. Wrexham 4, Histon 0. In the Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Celtic 2, Hibernian 1. Dundee United 1, St Johnstone 0. Hamilton Academical 2, Kilmarnock 2. Hearts 0, Motherwell 2. And St Mirren 1, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 2. In the Arnbrew Scottish Division 1, Cowdenbeath 2, Dundee 1. Greenock Morton 0, Ross County 0. Partick Thistle 0, Dunfermline Athletic 2. Wraith Rovers 2, Falkirk 1. Stirling Albion 0, Queen of the South 0. And Scottish Div 2, Ayr United 2, Stenhousemuir 0. Dumbarton 1, Brechin City 3. Forfar Athletic 1, Airdrie United 2. Livingston 1, East Fife 1. And Peterhead 1, Alloa Athletic 0. And Scottish Div 3, Albion Rovers 3, Elgin City 1. Annan Athletic 2, Queen's Park 1. East Stirlingshire 0, Berwick Rangers 0. Montrose 8, Clyde 1. Stranraer 4, Arbroath 1. In the Welsh Premier, Haverfordwest County 2, Airbus UK Broughton 0. That's the latest score. They kicked off 3/4 of an hour late. Newtown 0, Carmarthen Town 1. Prestatyn Town 1, Llanelli 1. The New Saints 6, Port Talbot Town 1. And the Carling Premiership, Coleraine 1, Ballymena United 0. Dungannon Swifts 0, Donegal Celtic 0. Lisbon Distillery 1, Cliftonville 1. Portadown 0, Crusaders 2.
Let's have a little look then at the table, starting with the Premier League. And this is how the Barclays Premier League looks this evening. Chelsea continue to head the way despite their first league defeat of the season. The Blues' advantage stays at 4 points after Arsenal also lost. Manchester City join near neighbours United on 11 points, and West Brom's win at the Emirates sees them rise to 5th. At the bottom, Everton slipped to the foot of the table after drawing at Fulham. West Ham won for the first time this season but stay in trouble. Stoke, not in action until tomorrow, complete the bottom 3. And unbeaten Queen's Park Rangers have extended their lead at the top of the Championship to 6 points. Wins for Cardiff and Watford take them above Ipswich and Norwich, who both drop points. Leeds are up 7 places to 5th with that win over Sheffield United. At the bottom, Leicester City, bottom of the table following their drubbing at the hands of Portsmouth last night, coupled with a win for Preston this afternoon. Bristol City earned an away point, while Derby were emphatic winners over Crystal Palace. In League One, Brighton are the new leaders after a last-minute win for them. Peterborough also won to move up to second, and just 5 points separate the entire top 12. How tight is League One's top half of the table? At the bottom, Tranmere slipped to the bottom following a heavy defeat. Dagenham picked up a priceless point at their East End neighbours Charlton. Brentford and Walsall complete the bottom four. And to League Two. Port Vale are the new league leaders, as previous table topper Shrewsbury could only draw today. Rotherham climbed 2 places after defeating Chesterfield. At the bottom, a change at the other end of the table too. Hereford now prop up the division. Barnet drew at fellow strugglers Morecambe, Bradford and Lincoln both lost. And the Blue Square Premier at the top. Mansfield moved top on goal difference after a 4-0 win. Previous leaders AFC Wimbledon are in action tomorrow. At the bottom, Altrincham stay bottom. Histon, Bath and Forest Green all lost and complete the relegation places. And to the SPL. It's 6 wins from 6 for Celtic, a feat which Old Firm rivals Rangers will attempt to emulate tomorrow. Motherwell leapfrog Hearts after winning at Tynecastle this afternoon. And St Mirren and St Johnstone both lost, allowing Hamilton to climb off the bottom. Let's get the headlines then from the Premier League today. 27 years. Man City, Liverpool 2, Blackpool 1, Blackburn 2. Brett Emerson scores a stoppage time winner at Bloomfield Road. A lively Lancashire derby today, Blackpool's first home Premier League defeat. Fulham 0, Everton 0. There were precious few home comforts at the Cottage. Fulham drew for the 5th time in 6 games. Winless Everton slumped to the foot of the table. Birmingham 0, Wigan 0. Little to cheer at St Andrews except a new record, club record that is for Birmingham City. 18 top-flight home games without defeat. A year tomorrow. Impressive record indeed. Well, that's it from us for the moment. You can see all of those goals and the highlights on Match of the Day tonight at BBC One 10:30, and have your say on 6:06 on 5 Live with Chappers and Savage at 6:15. Stay with us. Stay with Stephen Martin. We're going to hear loads more from these boys and from the day's headline makers. We'll see you on the red button in a moment. Till next time. Bye-bye.